Hey fuckers, another crazy, wild week of living. Hooray. So come, sit on my couch and we'll read a story together. This one is called Just the Tip, because that doesn't count, right? Isn't that what we were told? Anyway, crisscross applesauce fuckers, it's story time. Henry had a paintbrush. It was his most prized possession. Look at him. That's a pretty big paintbrush. Good for Henry. Henry practiced painting with his brush every day. Even if he was busy, he always made time to practice. I'm sure he did. Sadly, all that Henry could do was pretend, because he didn't have any paint. What a predicament. Sometimes he would watch videos of other paintbrushes dipped in paint and imagine that it was his brush on his little mousetop there. Not a day went by that Henry didn't daydream of using his paintbrush with real paint. Many nights, it was all he could think about. Henry had a next-door neighbor named Cindy. Okay, I see where this is going. Cindy loved to paint. She had many beautiful colors and knew how to mix them together to achieve the perfect hue. And we love to see it, Cindy. But Cindy did not have a paintbrush. I think you can get those on Amazon now. Just have to find the right size belt. Of course, this did not stop her from painting. She just used her fingers. Same. Cindy often wondered what it would be like to use a real paintbrush. Sometimes she watched videos of paintbrushes dipped in paint and imagined that it was her paint. Aww. Not a day went by that Cindy didn't daydream about finding a real paintbrush to use with her paints. Luckily, one warm summer afternoon, Henry ran into Cindy at his favorite neighborhood park. As he walked by and nodded hello, he noticed something on her fingers. She was probably just dabbing. Just kidding, that wasn't part of the story. He stopped mid-stride. "Cindy," exclaimed Henry, "is that paint on your hands?" "Yes," she replied shyly. "I like to paint, but I don't have a paintbrush, so I just use my fingers." Wow, what a fun conversation to have in the park. Henry was so excited he could barely contain himself. He had no idea that Cindy liked to paint. "I have a paintbrush," he blurted out. "Maybe we could go paint together sometime." Brilliant fucking idea. It had never occurred to Cindy that Henry might own a perfectly fine paintbrush. This could be my chance to see what it's like to use a real paintbrush with my paints, she thought to herself. Yes, that would be nice. The next day, Cindy invited Henry to her house and led him to her bedroom where she kept her paints. Henry was so excited to see real paint for the first time. I bet he was. He had practiced with his brush for many hours the previous evening in anticipation. In fact, he had even trimmed the bristles to look just like the ones he had seen in the videos. Henry presented his paintbrush to Cindy. Hesitantly, she reached out and touched the tip. Then ran her hands softly down the wood. Okay, what the fuck?